Hello and welcome to Fidelity Next, our webcast that helps take students to the next level in their careers. I'm your host, Emily Ananuevo. On today's episode, we are celebrating International Women's Day with two very special guests whose careers at Fidelity Canada are shining examples of hard work, strength, and success, which is very fitting as this year's International Women's Day theme in Canada is Strength in Every Story. So a very warm welcome to Tracey Wong, VP of Sales and Consultant Relations, and Agnes Doherty, VP of Regional Sales for Ontario. Welcome to you both, and thank you for being here on this special celebration. How's it going?
Great. Thanks so much for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here, and we're all colorful and color coordinated to International Women's Day theme colors. So many themes. It's a celebration worldwide, obviously, and it is all about unity, celebration, reflection, advocacy. So let's start off by just telling me what this celebration and this day means to you. Agnes, I'll start with you.
So I think it's a great opportunity to reflect on how far we've come. I was reading a stat this morning from the US, but back in the 70s, it was like 3 in every 5 students were male. And today it's the complete opposite of that, which is great to see such advancements in education, but at the same time, men still out-earn women. So there's still some work that we need to do, but I think it's really a time to celebrate the success and the advancements that we've seen. It's a time to look at all the women that have paved the way for us, and then it's a reminder for us that are in leadership positions of our commitment to mentorship and to guiding the women that are coming behind us. So for me as a female leader in the organization, I really find it empowering that we're able to sort of challenge some of these old stereotypes and really show that gender doesn't define capability. And so I think there's always some hurdles along the way, but each one allows us to showcase our strength and to break down some barriers. So advancements have been great, still some work to do, but it's always good to see how far we've come.
I love that. That's fantastic. And do you agree, Tracey, just sort of this day is about reflecting on gender diversity and how we can improve and pushing it forward? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, definitely so. Much to like what Agnes said, I mean, there have been many, many women in history that have really paved the way. And it's really good to see, particularly in the industry that we're in finance, that what historically has been very male-dominated has really started to be a lot more women, particularly at all levels, even at the leadership level as well. So it is really, really good to see that progress. But I do agree there's still more work to be done, and I think it's everybody embracing it to pull it forward. It's not just women, but it's everyone that needs to. But it is a time to celebrate and to advocate and reflect on all the great contributions that everyone has made thus far.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm so happy to have you both here. Such great leadership roles that you play in Fidelity Canada. And, like I mentioned off the top, the theme in Canada this year is Strength in Every Story. I'll start with you, Tracey, because your tenure here, 25 years at Fidelity Canada, working in sales, working in consultant relations. What would you say is your greatest career strength so far that sort of continues to motivate you and keep you passionate about what you do?
I would say one is grit, very much grit. The other is curiosity and relationship building. Networking is another word for it as well. Through all of these different traits, it really pulls you to do better, continue to learn, and never give up. So when you do get onto an obstacle, don't look at it as an obstacle. It is actually an opportunity, a hidden opportunity. Take every opportunity that's given to you. Don't question it. That has been my philosophy through my entire 25 years career here. Nothing is beneath you. Nothing is above you. Everything is for you. So continuous learning is very much something that I always thrive to through all of those 3 characteristics.
I love that. So great curiosity and relationship building / networking. How about for you, Agnes?
Yeah, I would say for me, my whole career I've been in sales. So sales is very much about results. So I've been very focused on execution, and I think that's always helped me advance in my career. And so, execution is obviously about bringing ideas forward, but then also seeing them through to the end. It's about being results driven. It's about being solutions oriented as well. I find often we can come up with a lot of the reasons why something won't work, but a better mindset to have is being solutions oriented and bringing forth ideas on how we can make things work or how we can overcome some of the obstacles that we face. So that's always stood well for me in my career. And then balancing that now as a leader with empathy, because I think if you're too focused on the execution side of it and the results side of it and not as focused on the people, that can pose some challenges. So having empathy, trying to understand the people behind the numbers, trying to understand what motivates my team, that ultimately leads to better outcomes. So I find this sort of like balance of execution and empathy has led to some really great results over time.
That's amazing. And just to bounce off of that, you both have been at Fidelity Canada for quite some time. Tracey, how have you seen the financial services industry change over the years? Do you see more women in leadership roles? And do you think we need to, have more females in those positions?
Yeah, definitely see a lot more women in finance and particularly in leadership. What I'm really proud of as well is the industry within the institutional landscape has really propped up the women. So you see a lot of women in roles where they're being interviewed about themselves, about what they can contribute to the institutional business as well. So you see women on panels, you see women in leadership through all levels as well too. So yeah, definitely a lot more prominent than before.
Yeah, back 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Agnes, you talked about how you started in sales here, you're in sales right now. A lot of young people, maybe young females, may not think about sales in the financial services industry part right away. So what would you say to them in terms of how sales could be a rewarding career path for them?
Yeah, so I studied finance and economics, and I certainly didn't come out of university saying, I want to be in sales, I wanted to be in investment banking, or I wanted to work in finance, but what does that actually mean? It's quite broad, and so I was really fortunate to sort of stumble across the world of sales. And I'm so glad that I did, because it really marries my love of financial markets and that intellectual challenge with building really strong and deep connections with our clients. And so it's such a fast-paced, dynamic environment. No 2 days are the same, which I absolutely love that. The days go by so fast. The days are also a lot of fun because you're constantly being challenged. You're speaking with clients. At Fidelity, we obviously have one of the biggest research teams in the world, so we have access to all that research and information that we can then bring to our clients. And I think it's actually an incredibly rewarding career because one of the things that we do is we're providing solutions to investors. We're building diversified portfolios. We're ensuring they're invested in the top performing products over time. And one of the most important things that we're doing is we're being there for our clients through times of market volatility where a lot of investors are acting on fears and emotion, and we can be that sort of stable voice of reason, keep them invested over the long term, which ultimately leads to really good outcomes for their portfolios. So I don't often think that people think of sales that way. Like, it's not just selling a product, but it's building really strong relationships with our clients, and it's offering the best of breed products to our investors, which means they can meet their financial goals. So I love it. And I think the final part I would say is the friendships that I have made on the sales team. We have this incredible culture of camaraderie. It's competitive, but we're all really good friends.
Rooting for each other
healthy competition. And I've certainly made some friends for life. Some of my closest, nearest, dearest friends are the ones that I've met at Fidelity over the years. So it's a really wonderful environment to work in.
That's amazing. And just to add to that, Tracey, if young people are watching right now, thinking about jumping into financial services, what other skills and strength do you think they need to come with to succeed? You mentioned market curiosity, Agnes. What else would you say?
Yeah, I definitely do think that relationship building skills are very, very, very good to have and necessary over time. But building on curiosity definitely is something that is a broad characteristic that is very much needed. Because as you go into finance, I mean, there's the mathematical part of it as well, but there is also the problem solving element of it as well, especially within institutional. When you look at funds that we're selling, or pool funds in our case, you know, it's all about how does it fit with your pension plan? You know, how does that, what problem are you looking to solve when you want this fund for this pension plan? How does it fit within the overall portfolio? What role does it serve? So your curiosity and your problem-solving skills, all very important in putting this together, I would say. And then the relationship building helps you open the doors for that discussion. So that's very much what has driven me. But I would also say, for anyone who's looking at finance, those are skills that are, you know, one that would cherish over time and would help you over time in finance.
Absolutely. And what I love about all the employees here at Fidelity Canada, men and women, is that we come from so many different backgrounds. Like hearing from students and from other employees, you don't necessarily need to be a pro at finance and business right away. You learn as you go. But I have a journalism background, and I found a spot in financial services. So I love the diversity of our educational background, our cultural backgrounds here at Fidelity. I think it's, you know, a real element at why we have such a good team. Another element to our, you know, community and culture here, like you alluded to, Agnes, is the camaraderie and the community we've built here. What can you say in terms of mentorship and the way that we foster growth and learning here at Fidelity? How is that fostered? What would you say, Tracey?
So I'd say mentorship is a very key thing for us here at Fidelity. I mean, we have a mentorship program. It's that important so that, you know, it's really much called out. We also have that buddy program as well. So Fidelity is such a great place in terms of really empowering people and also developing people. Mentorship is very, very key. I myself have utilized it at every single turn in my 25-year journey here.
Really? Oh,
you know, at the very early part of my career, you need it to really open doors and see things a little bit more broadly. You know, by mid-career, you kind of have your foot on a good footing and you think you know what you need and what you want. But then, you know, having a mentor by your side to open even more doors and open your eyes from different perspectives really even elevates you and gives you a voice within the organization. And then lastly, I'll say, now in a leadership role, the skills are vastly different now, right? You're empowering people, as you said, Agnes, and then you're also trying to lead them to develop their own growth potential as well, right? While running a business.
Yes.
Right? So these are skills that are very, very different. And so even at this point, I have a mentor for myself. And Fidelity's helped really facilitate that. So mentorship is very, very important, as is, I would also throw in sponsorship.
Right. There's a slight difference there. Agnes, any mentors in your career that have helped you, any advice that they've given you that have really stuck with you?
Yes. A few a few have been really pivotal to me in my career, both male and female mentors, which has been nice. And, you know, we talk about male allyship, but some of the greatest mentors that I have had and still have to this day are some of the males in my life. Some of the things that they've taught me. So I think, you know, early on in my career, I talked about one of my strengths being execution. When you're very focused on execution, so you're very passionate and you're like, this is the end result. And so one of the things that my mentor really helped me with was trying to think about like the second and third order impacts of some of the decisions that we're making and some of the results that we're trying to achieve. So he's really been great at helping me to be a bit more of a strategic thinker and thinking about the bigger picture, while also allowing me and encouraging me to be myself. When I started in sales, there wasn't a lot of women in the sales team, and so I didn't look and feel like everybody else. But having someone in those early days that really encouraged me to be bold and go do it your way, try it, it's something new, that was really important, while also just sort of like finessing around the edges a little bit of, okay, you know what, we know you want to get here, but why don't you take a pause, think of sort of all the different outcomes, all the different people that could be impacted, and then make a decision rather than just like shooting for the finish line right away. So I found that's been incredibly helpful for me, and as well stepping into a leadership role about just under a year and a half ago. That's a totally different landscape now, because as an individual contributor, you're very much just focused sort of on your day-to-day, what were my sales yesterday, what are our sales today, and what will they be tomorrow, whereas as a leader, you have to think of the entire team, the entire organization, and so that involves a lot more strategic thinking. And so in order to become more of a strategic thinker, as Tracey mentioned, I have some great mentors now that have been leaders in the organization for many, many years. So I'm very thankful for that. While at the same time, I have a number of mentors that are more junior at the firm. And so it's that two-way street of no matter what level you're at, you're both teaching and you're learning. So it's so ingrained in the Fidelity culture. It should be in everybody's job description.
Yeah.
Mentorship is just, it's a given for everybody.
I agree.
Yeah.
And as you go into leadership roles, like you both mentioned, the mentorship shouldn't stop. You actually need more support in order to know how to lead a team and be strategic, like you said, and be empathetic. So really, really important points there. Circling back to International Women's Day, you mentioned a little bit about allyship. How do we encourage more women and men to be allies to women's issues and help support and advocate women's issues? What kind of thoughts come to mind in that realm? Tracey?
I would say we need to encourage each other and be very inclusive.
Right.
Men and women take every opportunity to promote women and have them have a voice. Let them speak up. Everybody's opinions count. And with that type of mindset, I think it will start to really turn the corner. It's already started to turn the corner, but we can do more of that. Being more inclusive is very important when it comes to that.
Yeah. What would you say, Tracey, Agnes?
Yeah, I think leading by example is an important one. So we really think deeply about that as female leaders at the firm and trying to set up inclusive networks. So on the sales team, we have a women's leadership group. We have a women in sales group. We always make sure to invite the guys to come along to that as well.
That's really important,
because it's one thing to have all the ladies in the room talking about their experiences, but if the men are not hearing it, then they'll never truly understand what it's like. And I think for the males that really want to be allies, I think it's about listening to the perspectives of others. They will never truly understand what it's like to be on the side of the other person, but I think listening to their experiences, just letting them be felt heard, because I think what sometimes happens is because we have made so many advancements, then there's this tendency to think like, oh, that doesn't happen anymore. Those biases don't exist anymore, but they do. So
Absolutely.
I just think to be a good ally, hearing the person, acknowledging their experiences. We don't need to try and problem solve for them, but just acknowledging their experience is a great way to be a good ally.
So listening, acknowledging, and just recognizing that we still have work to do for years to come. So lastly, I just want to put a light spin on International Women's Day and sort of take a play on that social media trend that's going on right now about what you would taking your younger self on a coffee date. And I guess just what would you say to your younger self now that you have new perspectives and you've gone in through your career and through experiences? What are a couple of things that you would share with your younger self? I mean, I could start. I would say always order the dessert. Yeah, don't think twice about that. Always order the dessert. With your one credit card, even though they say to raise the limit on your credit card, don't. Just keep it at a bare minimum. But in all seriousness, just try not to be perfect all the time. I would tell my younger self to just understand that every day you just try your best. So that's what I would say. What would you say, Agnes?
I would say really appreciate your skin, how fresh it looks,
That's
and
right.
how little effort you have to put more effort into your skincare.
Oh, gosh, so
You know, I think like networking is so important. That's been something that's helped me a lot in my career, but be bold with the networking. Like, don't be afraid to reach high and to reach out to some of the more senior people in organizations, because more often than not, they're very happy to help. And when you get to that meeting, make sure you've got good questions and you're well prepared. I think that's the important part of that. And I think, you know, success looks different at every stage. I had a tendency when I was starting out in my career to look at all the people that were ahead of me and think, I wish I was there and I should have done this sooner. Instead of just enjoying where I was in that moment, because each stage of your career, you're learning a lot. You'll never be as young as you are in that moment. So really just enjoying every stage, and know that when you're working hard and you've got sort of a good trajectory in front of you, that you will get there. And then, you know, the final thing that I would say is that there's going to be a lot of setbacks and a lot of disappointments, and those are so important and necessary, because those are what make you great. And so, some of the days that you're like, that feel really hard, are the days that actually make you the greatest. So those are my pieces.
I love it. How about you, Tracey?
I would say you have a voice, so don't be shy to speak up. You know, especially in meetings or group settings, even in one-on-ones with people who you aspire to be, or you know, even people at your own level. Nothing beats questions, because that's how you'll learn, right? So don't be afraid, and don't be trepidatious like, oh, it's a bad question. There are no bad questions, because at the end, the only person that it benefits is you. The other thing I would say is what I said at the very beginning, grit. That's what drove me. And I think if you have grit and you're determined, use every opportunity that you have as an opportunity. And to what Agnes said is so true. Setbacks are actually learning experiences that only make you better. So I would say those couple of things would be my advice.
I love it. I love it. And just, I totally agree. Setbacks are not failures.
No.
It could be open doors to new opportunities. So totally agree on that. Tracey, Agnes, thank you so much for being here and sharing your insights and your stories. So inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
And happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day.
And thank you for watching Fidelity Next. We hope you're feeling inspired by the success stories we've shared with you today. So for more information on open job roles at Fidelity Canada, just visit careers.fidelity.ca. And if you'd like to rewatch any of our Fidelity Next shows, you can find all of our content on Fidelity Canada's YouTube page under the Live Videos tab. As always, thank you so much for tuning into Fidelity Next, and we'll see you soon.